Welcome back, everybody, to another RITESY executive interview series. This is the Voices of Higher Education series here at the NACE Conference, Phoenix, Arizona, 2024. And we are here with a very special guest today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, please let everybody know your name, your title, the institution that you're at, and what you do.
Okay, my name is Stephen Branch. I'm at the M.I.T. Sloan School of Management. I represent our career development office there as a DE&I leader within career development. So I sit at the intersection of diversity, equity, and inclusion, accessibility as well, and career development. So my audience may be students one day, it could be internal to the organization, it could be alumni, so we get a lot of coverage.
That's awesome. And so have you always been in higher education, or is this?
I have not.
So you just kind of got into this role and then kind of been thriving?
I think I was meant for this role, but it took me a little bit of time to find it. That discernment in my career didn't present itself until maybe about 4 years ago.
And what were you doing prior?
Yes, I started my career in public accounting, so the Big Four, as an auditor traveling around the Northeast. I was stationed in Providence and in Boston. I then took my career to talent acquisition and started working to place accounting and finance professionals. I started my own business in 2021, focused on career coaching and career development.
Okay.
And all of those things led me to MIT.
Oh, that's awesome. Our CEO comes from one of the Big Four as well, PwC.
Let's go.
Yeah, and so he has kind of the same route as you, started his own business, in a resume writing world, and grew that to a couple $1 million, and then pivoted into now RITESY. So
that's amazing to hear.
It's definitely awesome. He's a young African American as well, so it's great to see, DEI, not just in the workforce, but also in ownership.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool to see that. What are some of the things that you guys do for students, to help them with their career success?
We partner with students, I want to say. So, there's different strategies to working with students. We call ourselves partners to students.
I like
to
that.
catalyze the most dynamic talent community in the world is what we like to say. But we partner with students in a coaching fashion to help them with their career development. So we have advisors on our team that will coach students. We also have an employee relations and recruiting team that goes out into the marketplace and builds the relationships. Myself, again, I focus on the diversity, equity, and inclusive parts of the role. So I think all of us within our roles take a partnership approach, invite students in to use our services, as opposed to making it mandatory and everybody has to have 3 meetings before we can move to this. So it's a very ad hoc but coaching style, an approach to partnership with students.
Have you found that the coaching technique is working better?
It does. For us, we feel that coaching offers more accountability, or offers an accountability on the side of students, so they know they have some stake or some skin in the game, as well as the opportunity for us to deliver content and value to students.
And I think part of coaching is also leadership,
It is.
right? And so everything rises and falls on leadership. And I think that, coaching is, we all need coaches, right? Kobe Bryant needed a coach, rest in peace. Michael Jordan needs coaches, right? So coaching is not something that's like, oh, there's something wrong with you because you need coaching. No, coaching is something that actually helps optimize you. It helps sharpen you. Steel sharpens steel. So
It does.
I love that approach. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing with, the way new tools and technologies are coming into play versus, the current students' level of understanding of those tools? Like, have you been seeing those challenges?
I mean, AI is taking over, right? And technology is always advancing. So I think it's teaching students how to properly leverage technology while still giving them ownership on how they present themselves and how they use words. I mean, you can see statements from AI, right, that students
Easily
may use to respond to emails or make responses. But when you're in that interview room and you have to make that connection, that's when the soft skills really show up. So, whether it's preparing students for those behavioral type of interviews and how to attack those, it's really the people business at the end of the day that really supports it. So technology is great, right? We embrace it because it helps us do our jobs efficiently. But I think, the core skills, the core soft skills, the ability to relate, have empathy, some of those things, can't be leveraged from technology.
Soft skills and life skills are so important, and we always forget about that. And what's happening now with the use of AI is people are just using it and then they're sounding robotic. So it's like putting that human element back into it, like the life skills and soft skills that you're talking about, understanding how to just communicate with different types of people, right? And not just applying the way that you speak across the board to every single type of person, right? There's introverts, extroverts, and being able to know the difference. And
Definitely.
so I find that students these days haven't I don't know what it is, but it's like students of today versus students of like maybe 20 years ago are less, I don't want to, it's not a negative word, but like they're less like they've been in the house too much. They've been playing video games too much.
Gotcha.
What's the word I'm looking
Isolated.
for? They've been
They're a little more
isolated, right? So
isolated, yeah.
there's more isolation with students, especially with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So like these soft skills aren't being developed. So that's good that you guys are taking that really hands-on role.
I think I would love to bring in
Yeah.
the fact that the leaders who have the most dynamic or diverse experiences become the best ones, right? So
Okay.
encouraging sharing of ideas and opportunities. And we put together programming. There's a program that I put together called Writing the Code that exposes our students to diverse perspectives.
Okay.
And what that will do as we, innovate or produce the most innovative leaders in the field of management, it's now innovating around how we build relationships, right?
Okay.
So that you can be the most effective leader when you join that next organization and it's a global environment or it's in an area of the country that you've never been to. Your ability to relate across differences and ability to talk across differences is very helpful.
How are you guys implementing that? What are some of the things that you guys are doing?
I mean, there's a number of classes and maybe things that I'm
Gotcha.
not connected to, but in reference to the Career Development Office, we champion programming where we partner with employers,
Got it.
we partner
Okay.
with alumni and students to really make sure that we're underscoring, that development of relationship and people and the foundations of kind of building relationships.
I love that. I love that. One of the questions that I have is, what is your institution doing to implement DEI? And so you're the one that,
I'm like a
That actually-
walking and talking,
Yeah.
representation of it.
and
Yeah.
I don't like when companies or institutions use DEI as like a checkbox, because it ain't just about a checkbox.
It's not. It's about culture.
It's about spot on. It's about culture. So maybe you could speak to a little bit about that.
So I joined our organization at a very interesting time in 2020 during the pandemic, and the institute has gone on its own journey in terms of embracing DE&I and student support, alumni support. So at the time that I joined the organization, there had already been some workings in terms of people promoting and wanting to see these positions advance in the organization or be created. So I was serving on committees and councils and kind of, just kind of propelling myself into the space. And eventually there was an opportunity to open the door where they invested dollars into an office of DE&I at MIT Sloan. MIT is a very interesting environment. There's a lot going on, so it could feel very decentralized. What I say about us starting an office at MIT Sloan is it really kind of supported and bolstered what we're able to do. Not only do we have budget, we have a team of folks. It's not a one-man show. And we also have matrixed positions, which is very interesting, and that's what I represent, is I have this dotted line relationship into our DE&I office, our office of DE&I, as well as a reporting relationship into the Career Development Office. So it gives us an opportunity to really kind of weave in what we're seeing from a larger perspective in career, but also keeping the tenets of DE&I kind of very close to what we're doing, and allows organizations internally to talk. I think the best part about colleges and institutions is there's a lot going on, right? And sometimes the opportunities for improvement exist in the communication.
Sure.
And that's what these positions help to do.
And you use the term matrix learning?
Matrix positions.
Matrix positions. What is that?
A
Please
matrix
let everyone
reporting
know.
relationship. So as maybe you're positioned in one office.
Okay.
I am positioned from the standpoint of having two direct reporting relationships. So
Got
that
it.
I get the feedback and results from one group and put things into action in another. So it's an opportunity to learn, share knowledge, truly that inclusive kind of environment to be in that matrix role.
And I'm sure you do that within Sloan, but then you do it. But in doing that, it also helps the whole institution.
It does, because it not only helps us talk, but I'm big into the sharing of ideas, because again, things are happening in silos at an institute. If other parts are doing a similar activity, it could advance or make the project bigger or more effective or efficient. So the opportunities to share knowledge, create relationships, talk across differences are kind of huge in terms of connecting what the institute does.
That's awesome. Have you? So does MIT have, your roles within Sloan? Is there a role also at MIT that's your role, but for the whole institution?
There is an institute community equity office.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
really like our the manages the entire DE&I within the organization. Our chief DE&I officer, our Carl Reed, sits in that office. So there's different schools and programs or centers that extend from MIT. Our office, our Sloan DE&I office sits at Sloan. We have other associate deans of DE&I that sit within the School of Architecture and Planning or within
Whatever
the
it may
manufacturing
be.
school or the engineering school. So
That's cool, man.
it's I think everyone's built a little bit differently, but we have the opportunity to really kind of go and create new ways of doing work while also sharing in what other teams are doing successfully.
That's awesome. We spoke to quite a few higher education people, and it's good to see that your institution is not just taking an active role, but like being a leader
Yeah.
and being innovative in it. So
I mean, it's stepping out, in a space that maybe
doesn't
is
get a lot
challenge, right?
yeah,
In other environments,
especially with the political environment.
Definitely.
DE&I is not at the forefront, right? I forget what just happened recently where it was like, it was something about DEI not being important, like nationally. I forget what it was. You know what I'm talking about? There was something that happened. It was something that was like big, almost like a Roe versus Wade.
Oh, the overturning, like
Not
this-
just that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
something of that nature. Not that specifically, but something of that magnitude. I forget what it was, but it was something that was announced, and so like it just put a lot of pressure on, or it removed the pressure of large global companies, national companies to even have DEI programs. So it was like a hit to DEI.
Yeah.
So I forget what it was. Forgive me for getting tongue tied over here, but it's good to see that even with that, that's not stopping nothing.
What I feel most empowered about is that organizations that are choosing to double down on their efforts, for diversity, equity, and inclusion, those are the ones that were always committed from the beginning. So as you start
Great
to see
point.
organizations maybe fall off, or the political environment changes and they're unable to, by law, support these things, it really shows the players that are committed. And I'm very blessed to be at a organization that's truly kind of bought in and reinforces its commitment to those areas.
What has been your most rewarding thing so far, being in your career
It's been the
or your position?
when I can see people down the line that have benefited from being in the work. So, one of the let's say flagship programs that extend from my work is a program entitled Writing the Code. It uplifts members from our URM community, underrepresented minority community, or historically marginalized communities, uplifts and centers their stories about career. And one of our flagship programs is around networking in the game of golf. Golf is like this unwritten, like spoken language around career and development and building relationships and sharing knowledge on a 4-hour golf course, right?
All the business meetings take place there.
Some folks
All
have
the
never
deals.
been exposed to golf, even, not only the game, but how to use it to advance your careers.
What's your handicap?
I can't say that I'm a great golfer,
I'm not
right?
saying shit.
I'll get out there and spray and pray a little bit, right? We're definitely playing best ball when I'm out there, but
You could practice hitting the balls, right? The driving range.
exactly. It's a fun time, but it's more about what students pull from that event. So we've
Sure.
got really
No,
good
totally.
reviews about, hey, I met somebody who now I work with. Alumni giving credence to the fact that they've started new businesses with golf partners that it would have never happened without the game. So being able to give that opportunity to students that would, if this event maybe didn't happen, they wouldn't be exposed to golf or see the accessibility for them in golf. Just another tool in the kit to use for their own career development. So we've
I like that.
gotten some really good reviews from that, and seeing people advance beyond Sloan and say, hey, well, I'm glad that I did this event. It's helped me. I use it now in my everyday or in my career development. That's where we get the most rewards.
Awesome. If you had to give a piece of advice to a new student that's coming in to your university in order to see success, especially down their career success, what would that be?
It's okay, right?
Take your time.
At the end of the day, it's okay to drop a couple of balls, right? I think everybody tries to manage perfection and delivering the finished product every time. I had gotten some advice once about every day you're juggling something, right? And at some point, something's going to fall to the side. It's your job to make sure that the things that do fall aren't the glass balls, the most important things that you need to be sharing or that you need to be focused on. So what I would give advice to future students is like, give yourself grace, give yourself enough grace to know that you're not going to be perfect, but give yourself enough priority to put things in place to attack it appropriately.
I like that. Well, I appreciate you coming by, speaking to us. These interviews are meant for just, quick little interview snippets, knowledge nuggets, as I like to call them, and just, share your story, share, what you guys are doing at your university, Sloan specifically. So thank you for coming by. If you can let everybody know how they can find you and get in contact, that'd be great.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's linkedin.com/n/branch resource. My work is within the Career Development Office. I'm the Senior Associate Director for DEI and Career Development. I'm living in the Boston area, so if you would like to connect, the best place to find me is on LinkedIn. I look forward to connecting with anybody who's interested.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks, brother.